Have you found since hitting your 40s you don't seem to be able to burn fat easily and your metabolism has deteriorated? Is there anything that you can even do about improving your metabolism? I'm going to get into it in this video, what you can do to skyrocket your metabolism. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you, if you're a woman over 40 or like me over 50, get in amazing shape. I don't know about you, but certainly with me, I really struggled with my metabolism. Once I hit around about my mid-40s to late 40s, I just found that I seemed to gain weight really easily, and the steps that I took in my younger days didn't work anymore. I kind of guessed really that my metabolism had taken a nosedive, and it was really hard to find a solution about how I could pick up my metabolism. So what exactly is metabolism? Because I think it's a bit of a mystery, isn't it? But when you actually look at the definition of metabolism, it's the process that your body goes through that changes food and drink to energy. So calories are mixed with food and drink and oxygen, and that's what makes up energy, and that's what your body burns. So does your metabolism change as you get older? Well, there is a debate about that. Now, I was chatting to a lady in the gym who's in her 70s, and she said to me, I can no longer eat what I used to do in my younger days in terms of volume in food. So she said, you know what I do, Melissa, is I actually just eat less food. And she said, but friends of mine, they eat the same that they did in their younger days, and what they're finding is they've gained weight. And she said, you know, I don't really want to do that. Now, this lady that I know from the gym, so obviously she's working out a great deal and she's eating less, and guess what, she looks pretty good in her 70s. And do you know what, I would agree with her. I think that yes, you actually need to eat less, fewer calories than you did when you were younger. But it's not as simple as that, and I'm going to go into it in this video. But that is one thing. It's like you can't actually afford to eat the same volume of food that you did in your younger days. Now, there was a study that was carried out in 2020, and they looked at a huge group of people, thousands of people, and they came up with the conclusion that your metabolism doesn't change as you get older. What happens is you just get more sedentary. It's now come about that that study was actually flawed, because what they did is they took a snapshot of thousands of people, but what they didn't do is track them through the ages. And what they didn't talk about is the fact that you've actually lost muscle mass, which I'm going to talk about. But that study has now found to be flawed, and in my experience of dealing with thousands of women over 40 and men, is yes, your metabolism slows down for whatever reason. You can't eat what you did in your younger days, and you can't do the exercise you did in your younger days and still expect to remain the same shape. That is a fact. So I would disagree with that study. Now, there are some things that actually impact on your metabolism. So some of them are in your control, some of them are not in your control. So the first thing is your size. So that impacts on your metabolism. So the bigger you are, the more calories you're going to burn. Also, the amount of muscle you have on you impacts on your metabolism. So the more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to burn. The way that you digest food impacts on your metabolism. So it burns about 10% of your calories. Whether you're male or female impacts on your metabolism. So you'll probably find that maybe if you're in a relationship with a man, you're married, or you've got a living partner, they can actually eat more than you and get away with it. Now, that's just not to do with their size, that's also to do with men's makeup in the body and their metabolism. Your hormones impact on your metabolism. So you've got hormones like insulin, and that controls your blood sugar levels. You've got ghrelin and leptin that control your appetite. You've got estrogen. Now, if your body is lacking in estrogen, you're going to produce more fat that typically sits around your midsection. You've got testosterone. You also have your NEAT. So your NEAT is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So you probably find, you know, people that seem to burn more calories. They can just eat what they like and they're kind of skinny, aren't they? And what you often find with people like that is they're very animated all the time and they're fidgety. I've got an auntie that's really fidgety and she doesn't sit still, and she's really slim and she finds it really hard to put on weight because she's doing that NEAT all the time, moving around. She just can't sit still. My daughter's the same. If you know somebody like that, that's the reason why. And actually what you will find is how you move around in the day actually controls a lot of your metabolism. Okay, so now we've got that, like what it is impacts on our metabolism. What I'm going to talk about is some of the things that don't work, because what they're going to do is they're going to make your metabolism worse. In other words, slow it down. So rapid fat loss, really. Rapid fat loss does not work when we're talking about improving your metabolism. It's actually going to make it worse, because what's going to happen is you're going to lose muscle mass. And as we've learned earlier, muscle controls your body's metabolism. The other thing where you lose a lot of muscle mass, or potentially you can lose muscle mass, is too much cardio exercise. So that's cardio for kind of over 45 minutes, an hour per day. What can happen is you can lose muscle mass. Now, I'm not talking about walking, I'm talking about the more intense kind of cardio. So that's like getting on an elliptical, treadmill, running, that type of thing. You don't want to be doing that for more than an hour. I would even go so far as to say keep it down to 30 minutes. Okay, so what can you do to skyrocket your metabolism? Well, there's good news is that you can actually improve your metabolism, and that's what I've done with my own body. That's how my programs, my weight loss programs for women over 40, that's really how they work. They're about improving your metabolism, and you know, I've seen 4,000 women through my weight loss programs, so that's tried and tested. This stuff works, but there's a big caveat, because it works, but you need to take your time and you've got to follow it properly. So the first thing is putting on muscle. Putting on muscle through strength training, but it does actually need to be combined with a really good nutrition plan. That is what is going to improve your metabolism. That is what's going to turn your body into a fat burning machine. And putting on muscle, it does take time when you're older, because you're going to be wanting to do it naturally. Hopefully, if you're watching this, I've done it naturally. And putting on muscle when you're older and when you're female, it takes time. So you do need to be patient with it, but it really does work, and you can start seeing improvements in a matter of weeks. But to put on like some kind of small amount of muscle mass, you're talking about 12 weeks of solid training and nutrition to be able to do that. Then the other big one in improving your metabolism. So we talked about digesting your food having an impact on your metabolism, and guess what? If you take in plenty of protein, not only does it help you build muscle, but your body takes longer to digest protein. So guess what? That's going to improve your metabolism. Isn't that fantastic? So it's like eating food is going to improve your metabolism. Moving around more is going to improve your metabolism. That's not about structured exercise. That's kind of like getting your steps in. So if you have a tracking device, like I've got an Apple Watch here, it could be Fitbit, it could be a Garmin, where you're tracking your steps and how much you're moving around. And if you're like animated like me and you move your hands around a lot, that's going to actually record that, as well as your structured exercise or walking, gardening, housework, whatever it is, it's going to record that. And so the more steps that you can get in, the more that your metabolism is going to improve. Now, we talked about hormones, didn't we? And I didn't actually mention a really important hormone called cortisol as well, because cortisol actually controls your metabolism, as does your thyroid function. And these hormones can be really improved by getting a good night's sleep. Now, sleep hygiene when you are older is really, really important for managing your metabolism. And I've made a video all about sleep. I'm going to link it here. You can watch that to get really good tips on how to manage your sleep better, because improving your sleep is actually going to improve your metabolism. The same goes for stress. If we improve our stress levels, so that means not making more stress but reducing our stress levels, what we're going to find is our body gets much more efficient at burning calories, and that's what we want. So if you put it the other way, if you're highly stressed and you've got high cortisol levels, your metabolism is not going to be functioning properly. It's really important that you address those. If you know you're highly stressed, you're probably not sleeping very well either. So it is about managing your stress levels. I don't have all the answers. I'm not a mental health expert, but what I do know is things like relaxation techniques, self-help books, and also therapy or with coaching if you find your stress levels are high, because what that's going to do is if you can improve your stress levels, guess what? Your body is going to burn calories more easily. And just to reassure you, I have found since implementing these techniques, my body does burn fat more easily. I wouldn't say it's the same that it was when I was in my 20s and 30s, but it has improved. When I hit my 50s and started getting this stuff right, it's actually improved since my 40s. I'm not carrying fat around my midsection. I haven't gained a ton of weight, and in fact, my body shape's better. So it is absolutely possible to improve your metabolism if you incorporate these strategies that I've talked about.